guys, how's it going? I'm gonna do a little video on the Sephora sale. I wasn't gonna participate in this, and then there were just several things where I was like, I really want to try that. Oh my gosh, I was very drawn in by a few things. So I'm gonna share those things in this video, try-on style for you, so that's why I'm barefaced right now. I've been using them for a few days so I can give you a little extra info on them. And one thing that I won't be using in this video that I'll show you right now, I got this Beauty Blender Besties set. It was 20 bucks. I thought I could use a new beauty blender, but it also comes with like this little vented bag, which is sort of adorable, and also a new solid cleanser and one of these little things like you could use almost like a micro-sized Sigma scrubby type deal, you know. It's got some texture on there and might help you further clean your sponge. And then of course there's the classic beauty blender. I thought that was a pretty good deal for 20 bucks, so I went for that. And then Clinique of all brands busting out some things that I was really interested in, including this Moisture Surge Sheer Tint Hydrator Broad Spectrum SPF 25. I have had really good luck with the different Moisture Surge products. The moisturizers in that line have been really good, so I thought, hey, I want to see what this tinted product is, and I got it in the shade Universal Light. It is 100% fragrance free, they say. Now I've got a light bit of moisturizer on right now, and then I'm gonna apply this. That's usually the way I work with different tinted moisturizers or BB creams. Maybe certain ones I could get by just wearing this product and have enough moisture, but I just feel better having a little light something underneath. So I'm gonna dab this all over the skin and then blend it in with a brush. Light products like this, I feel like that's how I can get sort of the maximum coverage. So I'm using my Real Techniques RT Go brush, and the texture of this is really, I don't know, feels like a really classic moisturizer type texture. Not super thin and runny, but it's not real thick either. And I want you to pay attention to the kind of coverage I'm getting here. As you can see, a lot of nice moisture. And the coverage seems, I'd have to say that it's light, you know? Maybe that's why these kinds of products intrigue me so much, like some of these BB creams and tinted moisturizers these days. I always want to try them because they can vary so much in terms of what they actually offer your skin. One brand's light coverage can be a little different than another's, you know? But I feel like the skin looks so nice with that on. I definitely got some evening out overall of the skin tone. You're still gonna see up close some of the imperfections, but like that glow is great, and it doesn't feel super sticky. I mean, I feel very well hydrated. But what I've found is that when I pair this with some concealer and kind of go ahead and finish my look, it can be totally enough to have this as my base step. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. I mean, the Nude Sticks tinted cover, it's probably pretty close to the tinted cover. Maybe not quite as much coverage as I get from that, but still, to me, this is kind of coming off as a pretty workable product. Here's another thing I really wanted to try, because I have had kind of the worst luck in the under eye corrector department. Benefit Erase Paste, of course, that went away. It turned into Boing Brightening Concealer, then that went away. Then a product that I really started enjoying in replacement of that was this Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Corrector. It looks like this, and I use it from time to time, but then when I talk about it in a video and I go to find it to share how you can find it as well, to link to it, it's like it's completely out of stock, and I'm wondering if they're still making it. So that's been difficult. So I saw this product from Charlotte Tilbury, and it's her under eye corrector. It comes in several shades. Judging by the descriptions and the way they looked on the website, I got the #1 fair shade. I didn't want it to be too dark. I wanted it to have enough brightening but also have enough peachy color. So peachy corrector is what we're going for here. Gotta say, this has worked really nicely for me. Here we're gonna go into this area and correct just that utmost darkness that I've got going on there. And I'm also gonna bring it out here because I kind of like the full brightened look, taking it all the way out. So again, over here, I need it here too, of course. Inner corner, got some lovely creases here from my pillowcase. Thank you, pillowcase. So this is something that I'm just gonna use in this under eye capacity. And then I'm gonna take my Real Techniques, this is actually a highlighter brush, comes in a duo, but I love it for concealer. And I'm gonna just work it around that under eye area. Now you saw that it was pretty dark right there when we started. And I feel like it's doing a good job of correcting. I feel like the tone is on point for my skin tone to do what I want it to do. So see, I feel pretty good about that corrected eye. And the texture of it is good. It's creamy, but it's not at all goopy. But in terms of color tone, if you're going to use a corrector, I feel like that is just really, really on point. So I would say that was kind of a win for me in this haul. One thing I am going to do is take another kind of concealer because I want to get a little more coverage around the nose redness and maybe just a little more brightening. So I'm just going to use this Boing Cakeless Concealer from Benefit. I've been trying this quite a bit lately, shade 4. Actually kind of liking it in different areas of the face, sometimes under eye concealer or just the way I'm using it now. But you might also have the question, like with concealers being as good as they are, just straight up concealers, let's talk like e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer, the Hydrating Camo Concealer, or even like my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Brightener. With different products being as good as they are, do you really need like that separate corrector step? Because frankly, I have gotten along pretty good without using a separate corrector a lot of the time. But I do think if you're dealing with some pinpointed darkness, and if I was dealing with really dark melasma, I think a corrector could be very helpful. And to continue with a little more brightening, I might even dab like just right here and right here, just a light bit of this Benefit concealer, just to kind of let the brightness show through. Loving this skin right now. I mean, I feel like I've got light coverage all over. I've got concealer, corrector, only where I need it, and I'm very happy with the look. Here's another thing that I've kind of had my eye on to try for a while, and I thought maybe the sale would be the best opportunity. From Fenty Beauty, I got the Loose Pro Filter Powder in the lavender shade. Now, I have this in a shade called Butter currently, which is a little more skin tone, kind of like your standard fair, creamy powder. But I wanted to try this lavender just mainly for an under eye setting powder type of need. Not that I don't have enough things that I could use in that way, but I wanted to see how well this would work, how brightening this could be. And there's a great lavender powder from Besame, but again, there's another brand where I feel like they're sort of phasing out that product that I like. It's just a little harder to come by, and so I thought I would try some of this. So I've got a little bit just tapped into my cap, and then I'm gonna use this right on the under eye and center of the face, and you would think we would just have the most ultimately brightening experience here, right? Obviously, it's not leaving behind like lavender right there on my under eye area, but some powders that are more skin tone can deepen you just a little bit, and I don't think it's doing that. To me, it seems to be operating almost like just a plain old translucent powder. I feel like I'm gonna have to use it a while to really get the full effect and really understand, like, is it making me look drier there than other powder products I could be using? For right now, what I'm feeling about this powder is that it does no harm, you know? It doesn't make me any darker in the areas that I want to set. I'm just trying to really determine if the texture is better than anything else I've used, you know, like Laura Mercier, even other drugstore options. And by the way, there's a little stopper, and when you get this product, the stopper is like comes out separately and you just place it in. It's not actually connected to your powder. Let me show you. Looks like this, has a little FB for Fenty Beauty, and then it comes in there and fills in those holes. It's a pretty looking powder from the packaging perspective, but it is, I would say, pretty bulky. And now for my fail of the haul, guys. I really wanted to try this product from Kosas. I kept the box here. It's called the Moisturizing Baked Bronzer, and just because of the name, I was drawn in. I really wanted to try it, and I had put it in my cart in the medium shade, and then it was time to check out, and I noticed, oh my gosh, that's out of stock actually. If I want to try this, the only shade I can get is the deep. And you know how, like, with some bronzers, there's a very fine line between the shades, and you could just as easily use one as the other. Well, here, I'm not sure how deep the medium might have truly been. Maybe I needed to be on the lightest end, but this is how dark the deep is, and it is insanely pigmented. Like, you barely graze your brush, and you're picking up a ton of product. I used this the other day, like, I just trying it out, and it was way overboard. I feel like I could make almost any bronzer work, but this is so soft, like it just picks up a ton of powder when you stick your brush in, and then you're really working to blend it out. So I'm not saying this is a bad product at all. I'm just saying this shade really isn't something I can easily make work for myself, so I may have to return this. But it does come in light, medium, and dark. I think I might be medium, if not light. And it says clean shea butter bronzer, gives a silky smooth finish, feels weightless weightless on the skin. And I do like the packaging. I mean, that's really cool too. But yeah, that one's just not gonna work out for me. Today I will use some bronzer, but I'm just gonna bust out my Rimmel Natural Bronzer because that's just quick and easy. And I'll just apply a little bit of this around my hairline area. I think a baby scratched my forehead. Don't you love those mysterious little injuries where you're like, not sure how that happened. And I can get a really nice, just softest ever contour with this too. You might say, well, you left us hanging, you didn't do like a recommendations video. Well, one fine day I opened up my YouTube subscription feed and no joke, I had 10 videos, just boom, 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 all Sephora recommendations. And I just simply couldn't add to that, my friends. Like, I was so overwhelmed to see that. I was like, I'll just do something different. I'll talk about and review some of the things that I get after I try them, but this is just wild. For blush today, I'm just gonna kind of shop my stash and grab a random one here. This is L'Oreal True Match in the shade Tender Rose. It has some shimmer to it. It's a really pretty blush shade, actually. If I could not have a hair on my face every move I make, thank you. So this has that little satin finish, little bit of a glow to it. Really soft and pretty. Love that. That's such a tender, sweet blush. For highlight, I feel like using a favorite here, my Milani, the Strobe Light in Afterglow. Let's get a little bit on there. Ooh. See what I mean about everything really coming together on top of this ultimately super light coverage product that I've got underneath, this Clinique tinted stuff. Just because you throw something on and you're like, wow, okay, it looks really light, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Continue on with the rest of your steps, because after that concealer and that powder, blush and things like that, everything can really come together and you can be so satisfied with that level of coverage. I'm gonna do a little setting mist. I'll just grab my e.l.f. Hydrating Coconut Mist here. And then I'm just gonna do a quick brow, just grab something random here that I have because it's, again, not a new Sephora product. And then I have a few more new things to talk about. Guys, I got my brows done. I just used that Physicians Formula Brow Last real quick in there, and I put some eye primer on. And I didn't get an eyeshadow palette in this sale, but recently I got something that I have told you guys about before, the Violet Voss Sweet Violet palette. And I've been wanting to work this into a video, been meaning to, and I thought maybe now's the time. So this is what that looks like, and I just feel like if you enjoy purple, this is purple stepped up a notch. I've got a few purple palettes and this is definitely the boldest, brightest one. And there are some gorgeous looking looks on the Sephora website featuring this, particularly this one. This look probably sold me on the entire thing. You may have recalled the video where I was like kind of trying to do an anti-haul, but this was the thing I couldn't resist. And I loved this sort of really soft but bold lilac shade, and then it looks like she's got some of maybe the shimmery peach on the lid. So I'm kind of wanting to recreate that type of look today. It does look fairly simple but kind of impactful, and I want to give it a go. So we're going to start off, I think if I were guessing, it would be mainly this shade that's worked into the look. So I'm going to start off in my crease. This is my Profusion ES2. And we'll just wedge that in here, and it goes up the color fairly high and freely. So I'll try to let it do that here too. And then it comes out with a beautiful kind of outer V shape. But this isn't the only little Violet Voss palette like this that I have. I have a berry one too, and the shadows, the textures are just absolutely beautiful. So as you can see, I'm trying to build up slowly, just using that same shade, that corner matte color, and just trying to build up this sort of crease and above area. But it's interesting, normally I am sold on a palette from just the look of the palette itself. This one, it was like, okay, that palette looks good, but what really took me over the edge was seeing some of the looks that were created with it. So again, just building. It's a pretty intense color, so you could just slap it on and get a whole lot of impact all at once, but I'm kind of scared to do that, so trying to build slowly. A very sort of orchid, pinky lilac type of color. Then I think I'm going to take that same color with a flat brush, and we're going to cover, I don't know, 2/3 of our lid with that. Oh, that's so pretty. And as you can see, it's the same shade, so it's meshing right up in with what we were just doing in the crease. It's kind of interesting, this matte is really surprisingly buildable, you know? As I'm patting it on with the flat brush, it can look quite bright if you want to keep going over it. It seems like her outer part has just a little more shape to it, and now that's kind of making me wonder if maybe there isn't like one more deeper shade brought in. Like if I just tapped into this really true purple right here, it's also a matte, and kind of, I don't know, sneakily added this into the look, it might give it a bit more boundary here on the outside, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to look like there's a completely other shade, because to me, in the picture, it just looks like a total wash of one color, but there may be a little bit more depth coming in right here. I'm just kind of dabbing that brush, outer corner, lifting upward, and I really think that's the ticket. It adds a little more intensity to the softer shade, but yet it doesn't look necessarily like two different colors. Okay, there we be with that. And now I just want this kind of peachy shimmer. Sorry if I'm continually looking down. I'm just, oh, and of course the Sephora app closed out. It's okay, I know what it looked like. This peachy shimmer was kind of intense right in here. Like you could definitely tell that that shade was used. And the other day, when I was playing with this, I worked with this color with a brush, and I thought it was okay, but it gave a much softer look. Dabbing it on with your finger might be a little more effective. Also, this shade, we didn't use this today, but this kind of buttery looking color is really nice on the outside of a look that you're trying to blend out. Here we darn near took that violet up to my eyebrow, but if you're trying to get a real blended edge, that's sort of interesting. It brings in a little different tone than just your classic cream colors. So again, just dabbing that peachy shimmer, not trying to make that take over the entire lid, because that's not the way it looked. And beyond this, I can't tell what's going on the under part of the eye, because she's kind of looking down. It seems like she's got a thick lash, but no real like liner with this look. But that is the eyeshadow, and I think that's kind of a fun pop. If you're a purple and orchid shadow lover, that's so beautiful. And you know, all we touched was this shade and this shade and then the peach, and there's so much more in here. If you want to go more of a cooler bluish purple, there's definitely some things that look a little bit more that way too. I'm really into trying different lash primers these days for whatever reason. I mean, I just think it's cool to see, you know, when you hit that sweet spot, a great combination of a certain lash primer with a certain mascara. And one that I thought I wanted to try that I saw on Sephora's website is this one from Marc Jacobs. I don't know that this is anything new. I mean, for all I know, this has been around for a long time. But what drew me in, it's kind of like peachy in color. Do you see that? It's a peachy looking primer, and it's got this very shallow hourglass brush, about as shallow as they come, not super long bristles, so it's really easy to throw on there and not really be worried about the brush hitting you in the nose or something. But it builds up the primer super fast, like 1 or 2 or 3 strokes through, and I'm just making sure I got everywhere. But it really gets on there quick. I've played with several different mascaras going on top, including actually one from Marc Jacobs that I'd had back in my storage. I got it quite some time ago in PR, never cracked it open. I wasn't blown away actually by that one on top of this. But as you can see, I try to get a really good curl to the lashes by using my Tweezerman Pro Curl and kind of pulsing the curler. And okay, lashes are coated. I'm gonna let that completely dry, and then we'll find a mascara to put on top. Meanwhile, let's talk lips. The last new product I got is this Moisture Surge Pop Triple Lip Balm from Clinique. So as I said, there were a couple Moisture Surge things that caught my eye. The first being that tinted all over hydrator, and then these balms. I got the one called Goji Berry because I thought this might be the one that would have the most like colorful impact. But as you can see, there's a core there, and then there's 2 different colors also in the mix. This has no scent. No scent at all. Not surprising because it is Clinique. And it would appear that there's some kind of shimmer running through this. Let's maybe get you up really close. It doesn't really translate in a big way onto the lips. I couldn't really pick out that I have a shimmery lip, but the color is very, very faint here. I mean, it's nice moisture. It feels like a nice balm. But I think you know where this is going. The color is light. Like, that's not bad. For world's most natural lip, you know, that's not bad, but I just kind of wanted a little bit more. This kind of disappointed me. But I don't know, for a no makeup day, that balm does feel thick and nice and really hydrating. Maybe it just needs a splash, like a little bit of help from like a lip liner, or maybe this is my Maybelline Superstay. I just had this out in the shade called Lead the Way. It just needs a slight boost of another product. See, something to just throw on there and make the lip look a little more finished, but still feel like itself. I think that primer is all dried now, and I have not yet tried my Essence I Love Extreme Crazy Volume Mascara on top, so I figure let's do that today. Let's see if this is the match made in heaven. This is a pretty strong mascara on its own, but wow. I feel like ultimately we're on our way to a full video all about the different lash primers I've been trying. I would say that's a pretty good looking lash. I mean, it's not clumping my lashes together. The primer isn't, I don't believe. Okay, somehow a speck flew onto my eyelid. I swear I didn't do it. I didn't touch it to my eye. Just what you need on top of your all matte, smooth eye. So what I'm gonna do is go back here just with a little bit of this because I don't want to lose any of what I had going there. Just replace what I may have rubbed away as I tried to correct that. Okay, the hair is not in its best shape right now. Needs a wash like tonight. But here's what we've got, guys, for the finished look. I'd love to know what you think about these different products. If you've tried them, let me know in the comments section. I always kind of like to review at the end, but I was pretty impressed with the Clinique Moisture Surge. I just think it gives a beautiful glow to the skin. It may be a great product going into this time of year where you just really want something light. It may be something that kind of gets lumped into that family of products that I think I will probably do a video on, you know, products that don't really look like foundation, but they still give you some sort of effect, you know? So I liked that, and I really was pleased with the corrective ability of this Charlotte Tilbury product for me in the shade Fair. I thought it really did a good job of tackling the darkness, and if I have some melasma to deal with going forward in the summer months, that is, the sun kind of brings it out. I get a lot of questions, how did you remove that? Usually it's just getting out of a season where I'm outside so much. Even though I've got sunscreen on every day, it can just kind of bring it out a bit more. Hormones are another factor. I don't have the pregnancy hormones at play right now, so maybe it won't be as bad this season. But if you do have pinpointed darkness, a corrector can be helpful. So I liked that. The Fenty powder, I'm not yet convinced that this was a real need or that it's so much better than other powders I've used yet. I'm just gonna need to keep playing with it. Same kind of deal with this Marc Jacobs primer, because I've got like Milani's, for example. I like that lash primer. I'm not so sure this is better than Estee Lauder's Little Black Primer, but I'm gonna need to try some more combos, just work with it some more in general. And I was a little disappointed by this Clinique. The feel is great, the color is barely there. So for some people that might be just what you want, who knows. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've had any good makeup finds lately in the comments. Please give the video a thumbs up also if you enjoyed it. That really helps my channel. It helps its visibility here on YouTube as a whole if you give thumbs up. So I would appreciate that so much. Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.